by design. We talking health and talking fitness, talking life and talking nutrition. Way more than looks and aesthetics. Gotta tune in and don't miss it. Hey, go, gotta go harder, taking it higher, bringing that info here to inspire. Juggernaut Fitness, bringing that fire. Hey, go.
Let's go. Welcome to Unstoppable by Design, where we talk all things fitness, mindset, and what it means to truly be unstoppable inside and outside the gym. I'm Matt Terry, and today we're turning I hope I get fitter into I can predict my progress. Joining me is Anna Terry, my wife and co-owner of Juggernaut Fitness, to break down why tracking workouts and logging scores is the difference between random sweat and repeatable success. We'll cover Waddup tactics using PR history, percent calculators, and simple RPE or rate of perceived exertion notes. Plus, how wearables and good logs sharpen your pacing, scaling technique, and your results. So grab your notebook or open up Waddup and let's dive in. So Anna, how are you?
Great. Same every time.
It is.
Life is good.
All right, so jumping in. When did tracking flip the switch from I'm working hard to I'm improving on purpose?
When specifically for me?
Yes.
Probably actually it's always been there. I've always been a tracker because I'm a results driven person. So for me, data is king and I want to know what's the next level and how am I going to get there? How far away am I? What do I got to do to get from A to G, if that's where I'm trying to go? And I don't know that unless I'm tracking. I don't know that I'm moving in the right direction unless I'm tracking. And so that is a very motivating thing for me to understand my path.
It's kind of like efficiency, right? You want to make sure that what you're doing is worth it and that it's going somewhere. And so tracking is the best way to do that.
It's objective evidence. You don't have to wait for someone to tell you. You can see it right then and there.
Yeah. Now, you said data's king.
Yes.
What gets measured, gets managed look like in a real world day setting and training?
I think it's like if you're not looking at it, it's not there. You know what I mean? And so what gets measured gets managed to me is whatever I'm measuring in a training session is what I'm going to address and make changes to get me to my goal. So whether that's how I'm feeling, I'm tracking how I'm feeling in a workout, I'm super gassed, I can't make it more than 5 minutes without being help. Today felt like today's 80% felt like 150%. There was no shot. You can track feelings, you can track your actual volume, your load, and things like that. But whatever you track is what you can now use as a data point to make decisions in your training plan, where you need to pivot. Is this the right path for you? Maybe you need to train your food, but tracking all that stuff, you can then manage it. If you don't track it, and you're just kind of oh, well, that was cool, I'm going to go on to the next thing. Then you have no idea. You can't manage that. You're going to go off of feeling, and let's be real, I can't remember breakfast. So can you really trust just oh yeah, I'll remember that later? No. Talk to most of the people around here, they can't remember breakfast either.
Yeah, definitely same here. I know I ate it for sure.
It was something.
I was there. All right, how do you turn a fuzzy goal, something like I want to get stronger, for example, into measurable targets in Waddup?
Well, step one before we get to Waddup is how do you make a fuzzy goal measurable goal, right? So for me, I'm a fan of the 5 why model. So I just ask why? You want to get stronger? Well, why? Some might turn into I want to be able to pick my kids up and throw them in the air. Okay, what does that translate to? That's probably a clean and jerk or a snatch, depending on how you're throwing your kids. You all got different technique, right?
Throw your kids responsibly.
And safely, please, with proper form. So it's just boiling down to the why, first of all. Then let's say it is your kids. Okay, well, how much does your kid weigh? Jetty's a full-blown RX kettlebell right now, right?
He is.
He's a little bit more than that.
Yeah, he's maybe 60 actually.
Pushing 60. So, okay, so we got Jetty's at 60. We might have a 10-year-old. You still want to throw your 10-year-old. That's probably going to be a solid 90 at 10, if not more. So, this is a really big stretch of an example, but, you ask the why and you figure out what's really important to you and why you want it to be there, and that helps you set now an objective goal. So because I want to be able to toss my kids and play with my kids and throw them around responsibly or whatever you said.
Mhm.
I need to be able to clean and jerk 190 pounds. Big kid. That's you. So like now you have this target. And then now you can leverage that in Waddup
Mhm.
as a data point.
Yeah. And so you collect the data point, like you're saying, you
Mhm.
get some data, and then we kind of build a path towards that goal that's no longer fuzzy. Like you said, maybe you're throwing a big kid over your head, so it's 195 or whatever. It's like, so you get that data point of where you are now, and then you make small steps by logging and tracking where you're at, but being intentional with increases. So that way, maybe it's something that could take 12 weeks to get there, or maybe something that takes longer.
Yeah.
But you'll have a better plan once you collect that data
And
you
start
measure it.
entering. Yeah. Because doesn't Waddup, it like predicts a little bit too. Like basically
Yeah.
if you do five reps of something, it's going to say your estimated 1 rep max is this.
Yes.
So you can kind of see like live
Yeah, I got you.
live changes, trajectories.
We're keeping that in.
Oh, great.
Yeah. So I guess walk us through logging a class workout in Waddup, thinking about how you log the score. Maybe you're logging RPE. Maybe you're just making some other type of notes. But what is useful to log over the course of like 6 weeks?
First of all, I'm just going to say the more you log, the better.
Yeah.
Especially from a detail perspective, because like that allows us as coaches to, like, we look to go in there and help coach you better. And when we have goal reviews, or let's say you're in group class and you transition to personal training or whatever, like there's so much information that we can extract from that to better coach you and serve you and help you get your goals. So just when in doubt, put everything. Outside of that, like what is everything? I think obviously score step one. That's how Waddup is designed, and like you can change the like you can change the movements in the actual workout in Waddup if you modified it like something completely differently. Like all of my modifications lately, like I got to put a whole new workout in there. Do that, like change it, make it what you really did, and have it paint an accurate picture with your score. I think RPE is great. We always talk about the stimulus. So like if we're saying like today's workout, you should be around 75%. If you did it and you're like, yeah, my RPE was like a solid 8 to 9, but I was supposed to be at 75 or 7.5, however you want to, whatever scale you want to use there. That's important to note too, because if we repeat something or we do something very similar, you can understand how you felt. And if you feel better coming back around and you're like, I actually did at 75%, like that is improvement, and it's data worth monitoring and
Yeah.
tracking. And then all that in your notes too. Again, like whatever, like I scaled and changed this because this is going on, or I think I fell and bumped my knee and it's a little sore, so I did glute bridges instead of squats. Like putting all of that stuff in there is very helpful to understand for the future you and for us as coaches to help you.
Yeah, yeah. I want to jump into us as coaches to help you. Like, let's say you're doing a lift. We'll say back squat to keep things simple. And the coach comes around and he says, "Hey," or they say, "Hey, maybe you need to pull your feet in a little bit or change your stance." Great thing to write in your notes is say, "I tried to mess around with a different stance. It felt like this. See how it feels next week with the same stance." And it will also like help you remember by looking at your last week's results. Be like, "Oh yeah, last time we talked about stance. Now I remember." So I didn't just forget and glaze over it. It's like I know that this was something I need to be working on.
Yeah.
So it just really, really helps. Like any notes, any cues you get from a coach, try to throw them into your notes to track it.
Yeah. And I think to add another layer onto that from like the mental aspect, when you reflect after a workout, because most of us put our scores in after a workout, right? You reflect back on your workout, you're learning. You're like ingraining whatever feedback you receive. Like you're analyzing yourself. Maybe you're not like doing true analytics, right? But by reflection, you are learning, you are analyzing, and you will grow from that as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I just think it's there's a lot of layers to the benefits of tracking.
Yeah, yeah. To be honest, like if you didn't do well in a workout, I don't care that you didn't do well. I want to see some self reflection.
Yeah, how do we do better? How
Yes.
do we grow?
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah.
You
Like
know?
it. Yeah. We've all had workouts that where we don't finish. But put in the notes like why, like what happened, what caused you? Did you scale incorrectly? Did you
Did you not listen to your coach?
You don't have to write that, but like what adjustments can we make so that way you do finish on the next workout? But okay, jumping in, we talked a little bit about like the percent calculators that Waddup does.
Mm.
How do you use, let's say, like your PR history in Waddup to make decisions on, we kind of already covered it a little bit, but to make decisions on how you're going to approach the next workout or the next lift based off like the percent calculators and PR history in Waddup?
I think it's like depends on the stimulus, So like sometimes you look at the whiteboard and it's like you're gonna do however many back squats from the floor, and it's, I don't know, 190 is just a number in my head today, like 190, 150. That's not the actual breakdowns, but whatever. And then we say that, and the coach is like, when you do this, it should feel like 80%, right? So now I can go use that history and be like, what is my 80%? Because my 80% may not be that. And then I go and I compare it. Is it close? Is it completely different? So like, I use that based on the stimulus to say like, is what's on the whiteboard appropriate for me? Yes or no, and go from there.
Yeah. Yeah. That way you can make an educated guess going into the session.
Yeah. And then you're warming up at your 80 and you're like, this feels like 90.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not back.
Yeah.
Or
And
it feels
important
like
to
60.
note. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you go up.
And so our next question is talking about, how do you keep track of something like round splits or times to help you pace smarter on the next workout? So sometimes we do like interval training where we may have like repeated intervals. You do a prescribed amount of work, and we usually say, hey, let's grab a piece of chalk and keep track of when you end, right? And you want to keep that time consistent. If we're approaching a workout like that, do you log those times in your score?
I do.
Yeah.
Again, just track everything.
Yeah.
Because you're reflecting, you're analyzing, you're going to put those scores. I mean, some people will just put numbers in and it is what it is. But like, I feel like most people, they're putting in those numbers and they're like, oh gosh, I went from a 2-minute split to a 6-minute split. Oh no. Like you're doing some sort of like internal reflection on it, like as you're putting those things in. So it's just another layer, because we all function through workout brain. So we're putting our scores in during, and we don't really know sometimes what we're writing down in the middle of a workout, but afterwards you're looking at it, you're reflecting on it, you're putting it in your score. Like you're asking yourself what happened. And then as you're entering your scores and you're seeing that, you make note of it. Like I think it's super important to understand if things didn't go to plan, why? How do we do it differently next time? Were you sick? Did you underestimate? Did you overestimate? I mean, all of that stuff happens. And like, what's so important about doing that, I feel like for us, is we are constantly varied, right? You're not going to, no offense, like a Planet Fitness and doing a same like legs. What is the bodybuilding structure? Legs back, something?
It varies, but there's always some sort of structure or cadence.
Yeah. So like it's very repeatable. You know what you're getting into. There's not a lot of room for mix-ups, weird things to happen. But what we do, like those 5 deadlifts today at 100 pounds feel very different than the 5 deadlifts you're going to do in a week, because everything else around it is different. So it's really important to tune in to like all the different variations, because your body is different every day. Our workouts are different every day. There's a lot of variables. Yeah. And the only way to know what's going on and how to do better is to track them. Yeah. And pick up on trends.
Yep. And speaking of trends, I mean, how can simple logs, like your workout logs, prevent overuse? Maybe you're spotting creeping of volume or too many red line days because you're keeping track of your RPE and you think, you're on day 5 of feeling like the workout's 95% effort. How do training logs help with that?
I mean, I feel like you kind of answered it. You know what I mean? If you're noticing those trends where like they're saying this stimulus should be whatever 60, 75%, and I'm feeling like 90, something's up. Like I'm getting sick, I'm overtraining, I'm underfueled, like I'm not sleeping enough, I'm dehydrated. Like all of those feelings can come from one of those outcomes, one of those situations, whatever. So tracking those things, like you tune into it. And that's why that like reflection piece we've touched on it now, this is the 3rd time, is so important, because it's more than just how do I get better or grow or what could I have done differently. It's also what's going on in your life. How are you feeling?
Didn't sleep well last night or whatever.
Yeah, there's so many variables to what we do, more than just the workouts we prescribe. It's also in our day-to-day life. We're here for 1 hour. What's happening the other 24?
Yeah.
And these logs can also call that out.
Yeah.
And help us call it out.
They also help you figure out when it's time for like a deload week.
Yep.
Or when to push, for example. So if you're looking, I don't know, if you wear some of the wearable technology that keeps track of like heart rates or
HRV,
stress, during a workout. Like I know Whoop specifically talks about like the stress or the strain of the day. And if you're noticing that it's been pretty high consistently, maybe it's time for a little bit of deload. Take a little bit of an easier time with the workout. Just listen to your body, listen to what your body's trying to tell you, maybe through your notes and RPE and stuff like that, or through wearable tech. But figure it out and kind of make pivots from there based off collecting data.
Yes, data.
Now, do you suggest taking video clips of workouts and then making notes based off the video? So it could be, for example, you're doing a back squat and you notice that your knee caves, or one knee caves in when you squat, specifically around 85% of your weight. Would you note that, or do you think that's important information?
I mean, the answer is always yes. Yes, I would note it. Yes, I think it's important. I think in terms of like...
Yes, Matt's awesome.
Yes, Matt. Matt is awesome. He's the best.
Answer's always yes.
In terms of taking the video, I'm like 50-50 on that. I think it depends on like what your goal is and what your experience is. Like there might be some people who take a video of themselves doing a back squat and don't know that a knee cave is a bad thing. So I think like I would say first, like rely on your coaches to correct you and ask for them to give you feedback and point out those things. If you do take videos, maybe look at it with a coach later, because at the end of the day, like that's why I said it depends on your experience level. Like make sure that what you're taking notes on and reflecting on is accurate, and so that you're taking the right making the right changes, making the right shifts moving forward. However, if you've been doing this for 10 plus years and you're feeling super experienced, by all means, yeah, take videos, look at it, slow-mo it, take a peek at it, like enough to make some decisions based on that video and take good notes off of it.
Yeah, and you kind of spotlighted something there. You want to take good notes because obviously a knee cave isn't always bad, but a drastic knee cave is.
Yeah.
And you would know the difference if you take detailed notes. You're like, oh, my knee came towards my belly button in a squat. Okay, that's horrible. Please don't do that. But
my knees touched. They kissed.
Yeah, but if your knee, maybe moves in a little bit from the starting position but stays stacked over your ankle, then that's not so bad. And you would be able to look back and determine based off the notes you take in that video.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. So yeah, important stuff.
And it's kind of like taking before and after pictures too, right? Like if you take a video on the day one of a cycle and you're testing a max back squat and you hit whatever 300 and you're struggling, it takes you 5 seconds to get out of the hole, versus whatever 8-12 weeks later you redo it and you hit 300 and you shoot up, like that's cool because you probably won't remember that. You know?
That's huge. That's huge because that is a strength gain.
Yeah.
Even though it's the same weight, it's the same on paper. Like you're like, 12 weeks ago I back squatted 300, but like you said, maybe there was a long ride up. Maybe it was
my knees were wiggling. I was doing the stanky leg.
Yeah. Maybe it was 12 seconds and it was all there. Whereas maybe 12 weeks later, yeah, sure, you hit the same weight.
You shot it up.
But did you do it better? Yeah. And that's important. That's a good catch.
Thank you.
How do leaderboards, training partners, or even coach comments in Waddup keep people consistent?
It's motivation, baby. I see you looking. It's accountability.
It is
accountability, motivation. Yeah, I like a little bit of push. I think most people who join our world have a competitive edge to them, even if they don't admit it. So kind of seeing some of that stuff, like I said, like if I know someone's watching, they're looking at my stuff, I naturally and organically become more accountable because I'm going to go put my stuff in, or I'm like, oh, better be good. Like I'm going to push a little bit harder, having a training partner. Like I do not work out alone. It doesn't happen.
Mm.
Like, I need that person next to me to help me go through it. But I think all of those elements, again, keep you showing up, keeping you putting your score in. Someone's looking, someone's depending on you. Those are really big pieces of like what helps our community thrive, is we have all those elements.
Yeah, motivation. And really, like, let's use a coach comment or a coach like, for example, it comes from a place of care, because we watch our athletes, we watch you guys work out in class. If we weren't part of your class, we watch scores, because we want to make sure that our coaching reflects where our members are at.
Mm.
You know, do we know how to push you out of the zone that you're currently in and get you to the next zone, which is our job.
Yeah.
Right. And we do that by watching the data
Mm-hmm.
and making sure that we show up for our class. All right. Can you think of a member story where, you know, logging consistently and tracking led to a major breakthrough?
I honestly, so the first thing that really comes to my head is from a nutrition space, because that's where in the past most of my work has been with clients one-on-one, is with nutrition.
Mm-hmm.
But recently was registering the most is my mom, to be honest, with like the one thing that she's consistently saying, besides working with the powerful duo that is Liz and Emily. Lemily.
Oh my God.
Emiz. Lemily. Working with Lemily.
It's going to be a shirt now.
And accountability and just like knowledge from them both is tracking. She's like, she never really was a tracker until probably the last, I think she just got her little like 1-year streak on MyFitnessPal, if I remember correctly.
Nice.
But the consistency in tracking, she will say, has been what's moved the needle for her. And it's because you're seeing everything that you're doing. You're seeing how much those like that handful of nuts over here and that handful of chips and the handful of pretzels or whatever it may be that you sneak in and don't track. When you track them, they add up, and they're exactly why you're not hitting the goals that you want to get.
Yep.
Now, granted, it's different than like the fitness side of things, but it's still a form of tracking, and it demonstrates the story of a win from tracking. She is almost hit 100 pounds down.
Let's go.
I think she's like 10 pounds away.
That's awesome.
So track, people, all of the things.
Yeah, and I mean, that's a good connection too, is nutrition, right? We're focusing a lot on Waddup today because the topic's like workout tracking, but this applies even more so to nutrition. Well, I don't want to say even more so, just as much.
Yeah, tracking applies everywhere.
Yeah.
Even you can track your chores. Like,
oh God.
Watch out, getting a new calendar at home.
Yeah, it's building that data.
Yeah.
That's what it is. All right. Rapid fire myth busting time.
I'm so stressed.
This is stressful to be honest. Myth number 1. If I feel it, I'll remember it.
So listen. We're going back to the whole breakfast story.
Yeah.
I felt that food go in my mouth and down into my belly, but I don't remember what it was.
Yeah.
So
It was something.
I had words come out of my mouth. I don't remember what they were.
Was it, wait, when you're eating, you had words come out?
No.
Like words like, like,
yum, yum, yum. No. I was just pivoting to a different thought. Sometimes I say things and I forget that I said them.
Yeah.
But I felt them come out of my mouth. I felt the thought in my head. So, long story short, I don't believe you if you say I'll feel it and I'll remember it, because I see way too many instances of similar situations not applying.
Yeah. Historically, my behavior says this would never work for me.
Honestly, same. Because usually we're like, that felt hard.
Yeah.
But we don't know what's on the bar. We didn't, like, when did it feel hard? Why did it feel hard? All those layers.
Yep. Yeah. Myth number 2. Tracking kills the fun.
Yeah, only if you're lame. I'm just kidding. Listen, tracking is work. I have been in spaces of that too, where I'm like, I just don't want to track. I'm not in the mood. It feels like an extra task. Like sometimes when we're overloaded with all the different spaces in life, sure, tracking can feel like work. However, what do you lose by not tracking? And sometimes it's a lot.
Yeah.
So I think it's just taking a moment to reflect and be like, why am I tracking? What am I trying to get to? If you're tracking without a goal, then it's probably not fun.
Yeah.
But if you have a goal and you're passionate about that goal, it's the right goal for you, tracking will be not tracking is going to be very not fun because you're going to miss your goal. You're going to be really disappointed in yourself.
Yeah, then it just feels like busy work, right? If you're not working towards something.
Yeah.
Nobody likes busy work.
I don't got time for that.
Myth number 3. Numbers are only for advanced athletes.
I disagree on that. Again, everybody has a goal. Everybody has room to grow. You need to track to understand if you're doing the right things for your body to get to that goal. Mm-hmm. And that applies everywhere in life. I know, again, we're talking about like fitness and Waddup and stuff, but like the food, it applies in your career, in your relationships, like your retirement fund. It's all important. All has spaces where it gets tracked.
Yep. All right. Unstoppable challenge. For the next 14 days, log every workout. Record 1, the results or score, 2, weight or pace, and 3, RPE. Use a scale of 1 to 10 and track the rate of perceived exertion for that workout. And 4, 1 sentence on pacing or technique, just some other note from that session. At the end, pick 1 adjustment for the next 2 weeks. Think tiny habit, massive clarity. Remember, progress isn't luck, it's logged. You're unstoppable by design. Want help turning your data into a plan that hits your goals? Book a goal review session with Sarah Fogg at juggernaut-fitness.com. We'll align your logged results with targets and sharpen your roadmap. Hit follow, drop a quick review if this episode sparked an aha moment, and keep notifications on. New episodes land every Tuesday. Next week, we've got an inspiring interview with Adam Hawkins in his role in law enforcement and training and service and mindset and workouts. Until then, be well, be unstoppable.
Now's the moment, it's your time. What you need, true indeed, unstoppable by design. Yeah, it's my time. Yeah, it's my time. So unstoppable by design. Yeah, it's my time. Yeah, it's my time. So unstoppable by design. Unstoppable by design.